YouTube? Tire Metalhead Weatherman. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Been a while since you've seen this screen. But yeah, last night for some reason my screen recorder, my screen capture just wasn't working. It was just giving me a straight up black screen, so that's why that video didn't happen. I had shot a whole like 13-minute long video just for that to happen. It's a good way to cap off what's already been a crazy week. But looks like we are back in action. I just did a test. I'm hoping this works. But anyway, let's get on into things here. When I looked at the SPC for this weekend, no severe weather really forecast. Not too much of the way of snow even ongoing here with this. Looks like we're gonna have a pretty quiet weekend all across the board. Even the atmospheric river looks like it's taking a bit of a break here, which is great news. I just wish it would stay that way. That's the only problem. It looks like Saturday's going to be quiet for a lot of people. There is some lake effect snow that we'll be seeing later today, but we'll look at that after taking a look at the temperatures, because that's really going to be the big topic, because the cold is going to be taking a huge push to the south and east, as we can see here. These colder temperatures are going to be starting to settle in more and more, and we're even starting to get the negative temperatures a little further up north. Not unheard of for you guys for this time frame, but considering the fact that we're past the first half of March, getting into the second here. Usually we're looking for this stuff to kind of come to an end here. Across the northeast and even heading into the Appalachians here, this deep south, starting to get those temperatures below freezing in the morning, which is a little bit of a slap in the face considering about a week or two ago we were dealing with, let's say, 60, 70 degrees for highs, some places even 80. That being said, move this forward here, and this cold air does not go away. This is going to linger. By Sunday morning, we're getting those below freezing temperatures now into the lower Tennessee Valley and into even Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, even parts of northern Louisiana getting into the action here. This is also going to lead to a setup for potential snow and even some significant snow over towards southwest Texas, towards the desert southwest of New Mexico especially. And let's not forget southern Colorado here. Towards the higher elevations out west, we're still dealing with those pretty cold temperatures, but that's nothing new for you guys. Y'all are usually the last ones to warm up. But over towards the west, we're starting to see that warming trend, that positive PNA take place here. So what we'll end up seeing as we go throughout the course of the day, that cold air really takes a jog to the south here. Shreveport could even see a sub-freezing or even below freezing morning for Sunday. And then as we draw this forward here, those temperatures are still lingering through the Appalachians and then the northeast as well. So any lake effect snow that may fall today will probably linger for a bit. Shouldn't be much in the way of totals, but nonetheless, anything that falls will stick and more than likely freeze overnight as well, so that could be a little bit of a hazard on the roads here. That's what we're looking like on the temperatures. Wind gusts are another big topic too. So here's what we're looking like right now. My real big concern with the wind is going to be over here towards the north, the far northern parts of the U.S. and the Midwest. With those temperatures being near or below zero, with any sort of real wind is going to make problems. But when you're getting these 20, 30 mile per hour plus wind gusts, that's going to make for wind chill advisories and wind chill warnings, because that will make conditions absolutely abysmal. And then as time goes on, these wind gusts will be extending out more so towards the east into the lower Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, and then eventually the northeast, with this weak little clipper system that's drawn out that lake effect snow. So we could see a little bit of blowing snow as well. This could also limit the overall accumulation total you might get here. So this could be like a double-edged sword, but it's also going to make being outside a lot more difficult. And these even these winds that are below wind advisory criteria even will make it pretty far to the south here. So over here towards Atlanta, Birmingham, also Columbus, Macon, or Warner Robins, many of you guys could be waking up to some pretty frigid mornings, and hopefully you won't have to be outside for them either. So the next storm system comes in We're going to start to see those winds increase across the west for Monday morning. And then, of course, we also have to watch towards the southern plains as well. A small shortwave system could be possible. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the precipitation type here, and we'll kind of linger from that point. So here is the last of that storm system that came through this weekend, causing severe weather out to the Midwest here. We're just about done with that in the southeast. Also, yesterday, in regards to severe reports, it's been relatively minute. There were a couple of tornadoes that I heard about over towards Florida. There was a wind report that I saw in southern Georgia, but lately I've been seeing reports coming in very slowly for the SPC. I'm trying to figure out why that is, but we'll get to the bottom of that another time. But here's what we have going on here with a little bit of snow over here towards southwest Texas. We could even maybe see a few flurries here getting into parts of Mexico here, just south of the border, which is pretty. It's just hard to believe that that's actually happening. Oops, did not mean to click that sounding. Nothing going on with that either. But that being said, it's kind of surreal to see this. It's not unheard of, but you don't see it often. Or at least I would. At least I don't. But that being said, that's pretty much the entire picture here as a whole. There is a little bit of activity that redevelops on Sunday from the atmospheric river out west. It's not the heaviest precipitation I've seen. It's a little bit more of the weaker variety storms. And this is also heading towards higher elevation. Seems like it's going to be more oriented towards higher elevations. We'll still be looking at this region and seeing if there's going to be any sort of heavy rainfall with this. But for the most part, I'm leaning more so towards no. I think the bigger totals are going to be coming as we head into the week. Let's go ahead and actually take a look at our model comparison here when we look at the quantitative totals for precip. So it's relatively light, but over here towards the west, of course, could still see up to almost 2 inches of precipitation. Most of this on the coast here is going to fall as rain. Of course, towards the higher elevations, we're going to be seeing snow. Even then, it's relatively limited, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people at that point are going to have no complaints. But with the atmospheric river coming back into play, it's still going to be quite the problem here. This is, of course, looking at the euro. We make our comparison with multiple models usually. It's the Canadian. It's a pretty similar deal. It's actually a little bit lighter, which is what we like to see. This is the, or that's actually GFS, excuse me. Here's the HRRR here. Pretty light on the total still. And then here's the NAM 3 kilometer. All of them are pretty consistent at this point, which is good to see that we're going to have a little bit lighter precipitation. We'll hope that this trend somehow continues. But when you get into these little polar vortex-esque events, usually, I hate to say it, doesn't tend to stay like this. But let's hope for the best here, because I'm about tired of seeing these guys come up. Nothing against them, but it's unfortunate for them. That's for sure. That being said, let's go ahead and look at the snowfall. Again, pretty limited unless you're over towards the Sierra Nevada and then the higher elevations. With us being on that warming trend, it's no surprise there. Look towards southern Texas here. Southwestern Texas. We do see pockets where we could get up to about an additional 3 to 4 inches. And some parts a little bit further south of the border that could even see higher totals than that. This is what the euro is showing. Also can't forget the Great Lakes over here. The lakes being a little bit warmer than the air temperatures. We could get some lake effect snow going here, as I mentioned earlier. And this is going to be a quick moving little system that's going to spark this. So as a result, snow is going to be relatively light. There are a couple of hot spots here towards northern Michigan where we could see up to about 3 inches of snow maybe. And then over here, just around Buffalo, maybe more so towards the south where we could see another 3, maybe 4 or 5 inches possible there. But beyond that, it's not going to be too bad. The further inland you are, the lighter the totals are going to be. towards the mountains up here in the northeast, where you could see maybe about 2 to 4 inches at best. A lot of areas are a lot of widespread area, a lot of widespread 1 inch, maybe even less than that seems likely. This is the GFS, slightly more aggressive. Kind of think it's a little bit bogus at this point, but we'll have to see how that air mass ends up performing and how much moisture it can pull. But yeah, some of these totals are a little bit more aggressive. We're getting to about 6 to 8 inches possible in some of these spots. And the same can be said for this system here. It's also trended a little further to the south too. So we're going to switch over to HRRR. HRRR is kind of on the same boat with the GFS, and over here towards getting closer towards those mountains, we're getting some pretty impressive totals beginning to emerge here. We even have some places getting up to about a foot. It's a little bit aggressive, but And then the same can be said for some of these spots further off of Michigan Lake in particular, where we could see about an easy 5 to 7 inches according to the HRRR. There's multiple strips along the Great Lakes where we're seeing this possibly too. Totals as a whole for the HRRR just seem like they're higher. I think this is also at a earlier time frame, so these might be a little bit out of date possibly. We look at the NAM, totals are a little bit lighter. I think that is probably due to the fact that I'm looking at the 06Z run, the 12Z run, which is what I'm pretty sure a lot of these other models are on, minus the HRRR and the 3 kilometer NAM. I think we're already at 12Z at this point, so these convective models are going to look a little different. But yeah, that's what we're looking at with the HRRR and the 3 kilometer NAM. They're both seeing the early part of the snow system ongoing. These are snow systems ongoing. So, I mean, can't say that 5 to 7 inches can't happen, but for the most part, it's not going to be falling by the time I'm doing this video. I guess I'll just clarify that now. But there's some pretty significant strips here where we could see up to about 4, 5, 6 inches, maybe even more than that, along parts of the Great Lakes. So that's something to keep an eye on. It's just watching those heavy snow bands if you're into that. And then here's the RDPS, which I don't really look at anyway, but since I clicked the button, here we are. So last thing we're going to go ahead and look at is the blend of models here. So here we are with the blend of models. To me, this is the most realistic looking of all the other models. This is still on the 06Z run along with the other convective models. But from what I can see here, about 2 to 4 inches seems to be the general synopsis. Some of these areas could get up to about 4 to 5 inches still. I don't really see anything getting up to about half a foot or more. Then it's a pretty similar look across the board, both in southwestern Texas and northern New Mexico. And northern Mexico could get in the action too. Same thing towards the desert Southwest, and even towards the Sierra Nevada and really the Rocky Mountains here. But that's pretty much what we're looking at right here as far as the weekend is concerned. Business with other forms of weather will be picking up next week, and we'll be discussing that later this evening. So I hope to see you there. Hopefully everything works. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you already know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Share the video to anyone that is trying to make sure that their weekend plans are secure. And also let me know what you could be experiencing this weekend in the comments. Appreciate you guys being here, especially through this tough week that I've had. We're going to try it. I mean, with us being as low as we've been, the only way to go is up. So, and again, thanks for hanging in there with me. It's been Metalhead Weatherman. I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care and have a good Saturday.